What's up everybody, Logan here with the Subconscious Sanctuary. Today is March 29th, but I will be reading to you my entries from March 28th because I was a slacker and I didn't upload them, sorry guys. But I just recorded this video, it was a 3-minute video, and then I went to the next page and I realized I wrote down way more than I had thought. I thought I had poor recall and such, but that was actually my notes for the middle of the night. And unsurprisingly, after my middle of the night notes, my next streams were super detailed, super cool, very strange, and we'll get to those in a moment. Whoa, I'm sitting on an uneven table, I almost flipped over, so we're gonna scoot over here. Boop, 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 boop. Alright, so the first night, I'm gonna go through this one quick because I didn't realize how insignificant it was until I remembered that these dreams were the same day, not like two different occurrences. So, I wrote down March 27th, 2018. I wrote that down probably because it wasn't even midnight yet, because no, it was March 28th, excuse me. I was just on the wrong page there. So March 28th, I wake up for sex, that's the thing I wrote down. This is actually why I wrote down my dreams, because I was already good and awake after that. So I couldn't remember my dreams, and then after we had sex, I remembered some stuff, and that's when I started writing down. So first, I was a handyman working for my grandparents, so I'll kind of summarize these, paraphrase. My grandparents were living in a house. Now, I took a moment and asked myself, why are they living in a house? Because I know they don't live in a house in real life. It's one of those wrong setting type things for the faces you see. And if I were being mindful, as I've been trying to practice mindfulness and just questioning my surroundings and being aware of things and making sure that they're real, like doing reality checks often, as you should be, I knew that was out of place. I asked myself and I just kind of blew it off, as I have every single opportunity I've had to be lucid. I have since convinced myself it made sense. No, Logan, come on. Can't be that mad. I'm not discouraged because I don't expect you to be discouraged. We're not that far along, though we are quite a ways. I would have expected to be lucid by now, but you can't have expectations. Just know that when it happens, it'll be worth it. You gotta take my word on that. Personally, I've experienced it. I know it will be, and so we're moving on forward, and we're having some really cool dreams lately. Like, nighttime is starting to become more fun than daytime, and that's the direction we want to go. So I'm in this house, wrongfully so, with my grandparents, and they tell me my dad was working on something and he just didn't finish the job. Now this is weird. Another moment I checked and just blew it off is that my dad doesn't really just do jobs and leave them unfinished. It makes sense for him to have been doing like handyman stuff, but not really sense for me. I don't go off on the side too much and do much besides like pressure washing and basic job functions, not like a general expertise type thing an older guy would do. Not that my dad's that old, but you know. Sorry Dad, if you ever watch this. So I remember then after that I was like moving air filters around, you know, big square air filters, and I remember things were like kind of cobwebby, dark, not too much recall here. I just thought it was interesting. I scribbled it down real quick. Another dream I had in this short period of time I was sleeping. It must not have been that long, like maybe 3, actually I think I remember it was 3:30 a.m. we looked before we went to bed. 3:30 a.m.-ish, so I remember a little bit. And I write it down, which is a very good thing, as I mentioned in the beginning. You write it down, I promise your next dreams are going to be better. You know, take my promises with a grain of salt. Check the disclaimer that's not really there that says don't listen to anything I say sometimes, but you get what I mean. Most of the time, in my experience and others, it is very good after a nap, or just waking back to bed is a good method for lucid dreaming. But anyways, second dream. I'm standing in line for cafeteria food. I go up, I place my order, and I could have sworn I ordered a Big Mac. And I get to the end of the line, and they've slopped down some noodles and mushrooms. Now, some people would be like, ooh, mushrooms. No, I don't like mushrooms. Don't give me mushrooms. I'm like, ugh. And they just like, I think I thought about them, they got bigger. I was just devastated. In fact, I got angry. And when I got mad that I didn't get handed my Big Macs or whatever, even though it was in a cafeteria, I think everyone just disappeared, and I was left alone walking away from the counter in this cafeteria, and that's when I woke up, or yeah, I guess I would have woke up at that point. Now, that's where I ended the last video. It took about 30 seconds longer this time, probably because I explained why I didn't post the last video, even though you'll never see it. Now, you see here, whoop, that little arrow there? I should have looked at that last time I was recording, because here starts a whole other journey. Continued for 8:28. I wrote 8 both times. How weird is that? Twice in one night I wrote 8:28. Probably because I just looked on the previous page, but this is not 8:28. This is March 28th, 3:28. 3:28 continued. When I woke up later, I had dreamed 3 different dreams, all taking place in an apartment complex. Now, this apartment complex was very much like a school layout. Keep that in mind for the next part. First dream, girlfriend's giving me head. Maybe it's because I had sex, I don't know. It was pretty nice. But, disclaimer, I didn't even write down here, like, it didn't end too well. We just kept getting interrupted, and it never ended up finishing or anything, which is, like, a common problem in dreams, I find. Super devastating, not in a lucid dream, don't worry. His first girlfriend's giving me head. Every time something good starts to happen, a group of young kids just show up with their teacher. It's like we were hiding in an elementary school room right as kids were coming back from lunch or something. And she kind of tried to tell me this. Like, my dream character, I don't want to sound like some kind of creepy guy, I just pushed her into it, but she was kind of reluctant, kind of like, oh no, you know, we probably shouldn't, that kind of thing. And I was like, what are you talking about? Put my dick in your mouth, you know? Sorry, Mom, if you're watching this. Girlfriend was reluctant, blah, blah, blah. Next, my boss and I, so we just, like, teleport. After, like, 2 or 3 situations like that, I guess I get frustrated and move on with my dream. I move to another part. Now, my boss at my real work right now is a cable technician or a broadband specialist, because we do internet, phone, and cable. He's laying on the ground, and he's explaining to me there's a box going into some wires. It kind of looks like power lines on the side of a house, actually, like by your meter box. He's saying, like, in here is the phone connections. Excuse me, and that's kind of odd. It's not where we would have phone connections, and it was, like, in a steel pipe. So I remember thinking, like, okay, that doesn't make sense. You know, I was learning, so perhaps that's why I was questioning more. Should have questioned more, because I haven't become lucid. I haven't become lucid yet. I've had like 50 opportunities. Maybe you know what I should be improving on, because this is my own journey here. I am no expert. I just have some background in it. So if I had to quiz myself right now, I'd probably say I need to be more mindful of my surroundings. I should be asking myself every time I do a reality check, how did I get here, where am I going, and what am I doing? I've never heard anyone tell you to do that besides just, you know, be aware and consider what's going on, but I think that's a good way to do it. If you can answer those 3 questions as part of your reality check, you're good, because in a dream, often your answers will get you thinking again, or you just can't answer. A lot of times I'll be trying to think of, well, where did I just come from? And I'll almost snap into lucidity, because I'll be like stuttering, trying to figure it out, because I don't know where I came from. I came from my subconscious mind. That's a weird destination and a weird origin, you know? Moving on. So my boss is laying on the ground, and as I'm looking at my boss, here, I'll get the cat in the frame. I don't think he's bald. I don't think so. And I've only been his employee for like 3 weeks. Haven't seen the top of his head that much, if ever. But a huge spider. Remember from a couple nights ago, we had the creepy spider dream. Huge spider. This time, like 7 times, maybe 8 times the size of that last spider. And this thing is like, boom. It just crawls and lands on the top of his head, and he's facing away. He doesn't notice, but I see this thing going apeshit. Like, it's sporadic, like it has some eggs on its back. The way it moved actually very much resembled some wolf spiders. If you know what a wolf spider is, they're harmless house spiders for the most part. I don't even know if they can bite you, or they can, but it's not hard. But they're creepy as hell. They got long legs, fat bodies, and one time, while I was rolling on MDMA my first time, this guy was working next to a trail I was walking on. He says, come here, look at this. And he pulls a trash can out of a little trash can enclosure. It's the maintenance guy. And he says, you see those right there? And inside there's like 7 or 8 full-grown female wolf spiders with big white sacks on their back. Okay, a little backstory here. We're going off the dream. This isn't a dream. This is real life. Good day. He's like, they're all mamas, and they got their eggs on them. That's why they're going crazy. Now, these things were like, if this was the box, they're like, they were just going freaking crazy. I wasn't actually scared. I remember I was like, oh, that's weird. I kind of wanted to hold them, if you know what I mean. But it was like, creepy as hell. I remember those things like the back of my hand. In fact, I really want to like take the time to show you a picture, because I got pictures of those suckers, but I'm not gonna. Just picture a big spider. Back to the dream. Big spider just got on its head, and this spider's like red and lime green and all the scary colors you don't want to see on an animal that's touching you ever. Even though I was thinking about it later, and a bright colored spider probably means that was its defense mechanism more than like venom or something, or venom or poison. I don't know. You know, one's like intravenous, and one of them's who cares? It's a deadly spider. I don't think it was a deadly spider if it were real. It's on his head. My boss reaches back like this while he's laying down to smack it, and I know he's gonna get bit if he smacks that spider. Like, you're not gonna kill that spider unless you've got some shotgun next to you or something. So I grab his hand. I'm like, no, don't smack your head. I didn't even say anything. I just grabbed him and I was like, wait. I think I said wait, or like some, you know, short pause thing. This spider takes off and it's on me now. This thing's wrapping me up. It's going up and down. I remember feeling like piano wire thick strands going across my face and over my head. That was just creepy, dude. I don't like spiders, man. I thought I liked spiders. I'm gonna get a tattoo. My first tattoo is gonna have a spider at the center because it resembles fear so well. Because oftentimes spiders are not harmful. They should not be a source of fear. They're interesting. They're cool. They got a lot of cool, unique things about them. They're smart as hell. They're scary. I don't know why they're scary. They're just scary. Maybe it's just habitually scared of them. But let me find my place here because that's all that really happened. I'm pretty sure I blinked out of that part of the dream. That would be dream 2 in this section. On top of Ben's head, I stopped him from swatting it, ran all around, blah blah blah. Whoa, I just lost my spot, hold on. I could feel piano wire like webs. Last stream, a buddy from middle school, we actually sang chorus together, same as Mason would. Mason, if you're out there, that'd be cool one day. I hope all my friends watch these and are like, bro, it's nuts, but just a kid, kind of looked like me back then. Him and I share an apartment room in this apartment complex. We just moved in. It's fresh. Like, there's boxes around. Small apartment. Not a great place, I could tell. And as we're moving stuff around, right away, this skinny guy comes busting in. Now, I think he was making small talk and stuff, and he gave me a weird vibe, so I told him to leave. And that's when I realized, no, he's trying to take our shit. Like, he was definitely casing my apartment. So, let's see. Skinny guy... Well, like, blah blah blah, busts in, starts being aggressive. So I pull my knife out. I always carry a knife on me at all times, except for when I get home about to take a shower. I put it on my thing over there. I was going to show you, but pretty much any second of the day I keep my knife on me, just because it makes me feel safe, even though most of the time I won't do shit. But in my dream, I whip that thing out like I would in real life if I were in a situation like that, and I'm like, you need to move the fuck on. This is too much. Now this guy... This is interesting because I've been considering martial arts a lot as a way to work out and, you know, consider, like, increasing my discipline a little bit. I'll read this part to see how it worded. I pull out my knife and tell him to leave, but he says I'm not even trained and that I couldn't hurt him. So he looks at me and goes, you're not even trained, you couldn't hurt me. And it's just like, what? What are you? Like, are you some kind of ninja samurai guy? Should I be running right now or what? But that's not what I did. I always stand my ground in my dreams. Good job for that subconscious. I think my conscience is kind of that way. So, I couldn't hurt him, he says. He roundhouse kicks me. He's just like, bah! Gives me a little smack. In a dream, I don't really feel pain too much. Like, you can feel pain and sensation for sure. But I never let myself feel like I'm dying in excruciating torture or anything. I'm pretty good at controlling it. So he gives me a good swat. And I slash him, so he swats me and I cut him, and it's like a little bit on his leg or something. I give him a good little slash, and it just, you know, bleeds a little bit. It's not deep, it's just a cut. And then this goes on for a while. He'll like punch or something, and I usually miss, but I'll slash him a little bit. Every time he reaches, I'm slashing a little bit. And by the end of this, before we continue in the dream, he's like dripping in blood. He's in, rough shape. So, we find out where he's in rough shape. By the time it goes on until he's covered in blood. Out of time, so I'll recap. So I ran out of time writing this down that day. I guess I can kind of explain. I don't know what detail there is more than my recap. My recap was actually in depth. Out of time. I like writing them down the best I can. So basically what happens is he leaves. He runs out. Okay. Now before I can get to the door, he comes back in with two of his buddies. This big black guy like T-Pain kind of body build, you know, one of those guys that looking at a guy like me, he just snapped me in half. And the other guy was kind of irrelevant. I don't even remember him. But no, you know why? This is why. Because this other guy, not the first one I cut up, not T-Pain, or I don't think it's T-Pain, maybe it is. But the other guy runs in first. He gets his head in the doorway as I'm running up. I slam the door shut and literally pops his eyes out of his head like he's dead. Actually, I killed the guy in the door on accident. And I was just, you know, trying to lock my door because I had a good feeling when he went out that the people he was waiting to report back to while he was casing my house were going to jump me, you know, they were going to come in. I felt threatened. Like, I remember that feeling like in real life where I've been in this situation a couple times where you see like 3 people running at you and you know you're fucked. You bet that adrenaline gets pumping and you're looking at every option, you know, can I climb that wall? Can I just fly right now or something? I wish I would have thought of that. I probably could have flown. So I like pop his eyes out of his head, slam the door, I shut it. Now we kind of teleport forward. I'm standing outside of the apartment complex, kind of by a front door looking thing. Actually, the front door I can picture well in Hibbing, Minnesota as an area. Weird how all these different states and locations come together in like one relative story in my dreams. It's pretty cool. It's almost like more creative than my average creativity, and that takes a lot. But anyways, so the cops are there, and they're talking to me. Mason, I don't remember specifically he's there, but the main thing is a female officer talking to me and talking to T-Pain guy. He ends up being a really nice guy, right? So she's asking me some questions. I don't remember my response. I remember focusing on her talking to the big black guy, and I was intrigued. I wanted to know, what was going on. I've been in a rough spot, but what was their rough spot? It just makes me think cool things. I remember thinking, I wonder if it was meth. I wonder if they were tweaking all the time. It's kind of in the back of my mind. Meth's really bad around where I'm at. So he's on the phone all of a sudden with his mom. He's like, yeah, mom with this, yeah, mom with that, and he's like, well, mom, the truth is, I've been pretty bad off on meth. I've been addicted to, and hold on, I wrote down the right number. He says, I've been addicted to 75 kilometers of meth recently. What? I think I actually laughed in my dream. Like, I went through the numbers in my head, the units of measurement, and I was like, wow, that doesn't make any sense. And I woke up right after this. I probably became lucid and woke up out of excitement because I woke up a lot that night. I put LOL after that. Now, after that, the officer doesn't say anything. He doesn't do anything weird. That's just what he says on the phone. I thought it was funny as a spectator. 15 minutes, just checking the time. And he pulls out some brass knuckles in a Ziploc bag. And as he pulls them out and gives them to the officer, I said, that's what I thought he had, or I knew it, or something like that, even though I really had no idea until he pulled it out. But there was also baseball bats involved. Not that it's really significant, but I remember me and Mason having wooden baseball bats. Like, we were ready to beat the hell out of some people. But I don't know when we would have had time, because they busted in right away, and then we snapped to the front. So maybe I lost a section of time after they tried to bust in. I don't know. Memory's a weird thing, but this was a very vivid night. I mean, I did sexual encounters, was scared of spiders, did some fighting, worked with my grandma, and then what was the other one? Oh, ordered some food in a cafeteria. That's more than I do in a full day. In a full day, I work, I write down my dreams in the morning, and I sleep. I record these videos, I play little games sometimes. My girlfriend comes over for 2 hours, and that's my day. But in my dream last night, I did all kinds of stuff 2 nights ago now. Now that's all for that night. Stay tuned for the next day. It's going to be short and sweet, but it was also very interesting. My dream from this previous night, I wrote down this morning, actually on my way to work, a little late, but regardless, see you there. Keep doing your reality checks. Hope for the best. Lucid dreaming, everyone. Peace.